Guys, I got my tattoo.
Yeah, I know you said.
Yeah.
Don't you mean so, guys? You got a tattoo?
Yeah. So guys, I got a tattoo.
You ruined the show.
I love and hate you guys so much. So guys, I got a tattoo.
So Dan, what tattoo did you get?
I got Yoshi from Mario Yoshi on the NES.
See, ever since you showed me the pictures, I've always been meaning to ask you why did, because obviously a lot of people have very different reasons for why they choose a specific first tattoo. So for your tattoo in particular, what made you in particular choose Yoshi rather than all the other Mario characters or any of the other fantastic game characters out there?
So there's 3 reasons for this. Reason 1 is my brother bought the game when he got a Game Boy, because we've got the Game Boy version, but it was originally released on the Nintendo Entertainment System. And I used to play it so much as a kid. I dip into it every now and then just to be like, oh, this is a fun kind of game. And so, because I played it a lot as a kid, I was like, well, there you go. Second, Yoshi.
That's a reason enough.
and third, my friends and I, we went on holiday last year, and at the end, we all decided to get egg-themed tattoos. And I was like, if I'm getting an egg-themed tattoo, I want it to have more reasons than just being whatever it is. So actually, 3 of us have got ours this week. There was 7 of us, and 3 of us have got our egg tattoos all this week. I was the second, and someone just got theirs yesterday, and the first person got theirs on Tuesday. So now 3 of us have got our egg tattoos out of the 7 of us, and it's just pretty cool. Like, that was probably the best week of my life last year, and it's still one of the best weeks of my life in general, and it's kind of like links to that memory of that time.
Oh, that's nice. That's really
Excellent.
Oh, it is.
Oh, I was gonna say, because when you said excellent, I was just thinking all these people are getting egg tattoos. I'm just like, how to basic is gonna love this.
So, Brandon, if you were getting an egg themed tattoo, what would you get?
If I was to get an egg themed tattoo,
Yeah,
oh bloody hell!
I know what I'd have.
I was gonna say, there's not really sort of many egg themes I can really think of, because I mean, the only ones that really pop to mind are like Pokemon eggs, Digimon eggs. You might have eggs from Yu-Gi-Oh.
For you, I would see like Digimon.
I mean, like Digitamamon is basically an egg. So, but that's probably the closest one I can maybe think of. Really, I can't even think of any animes apart from Wonder Egg Priority, but I've not actually seen that yet.
I really want to watch that. To be fair,
Yeah, I want to watch it as well.
What about you, Chris?
So mine's easy. I would just get Danny DeVito offering me an egg in his trying time.
Yes.
Definitely
Oh
that.
yes.
Or the other obvious one, Dr. Eggman.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Oh, how could I not? A Chow egg. Oh my god. We said how much we love Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah,
I'd
there
get
you
a Chow egg.
Oh, egg.
Egg. I believe the game you were talking about earlier, Dan, was Yoshi's Cookie on the Game Boy.
Yes, that is literally. It is Mario and Yoshi's Cookie. That, yeah,
Yeah, it's one and the same.
yeah, one and the same.
I'll say the only Yoshi game I've played is the one on the Nintendo 64, Yoshi Story.
Not as good as Yoshi's Island.
I
My
really
opinion.
liked Yoshi Story.
Yoshi's
really,
Island's
really
great.
liked it.
Has anyone played the newer ones, like the Yoshi's Woolly World?
The last one I played was on the DS, which was like kind of a continuation of Yoshi's, Super Mario Land 2.
Yes, Yoshi's Island.
Yeah,
It's just a port, isn't it?
I know it's like a new game, but it's basically exactly. It's like gameplay and all that is very much the same as Yoshi's Island. You just get like Wario as well and different other babies
Ah, okay.
instead of just Mario.
So it's in essence Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island 2.
Yeah, basically. I can't remember what it's called.
What a naming scheme.
Egg.
just a contribution. If at any point we drum up short or just go quiet for a second, just someone say egg. No reason.
Welcome to the Victory Achieved podcast, a video game podcast. I'm here with Brandon.
That's me.
And Chris.
Egg!
Yeah. And just me, as always, Dan. So, what has everyone been doing recently?
Well, as you guys know, we a couple episodes ago, we went into detail about Resident Evil 8. And in that podcast, I did mention that I've never played a single Resident Evil game. So I took it upon myself to grab Resident Evil 8 last week, and I've been playing it.
Come on,
so
Brandon.
yeah, so I've actually started, and I'm halfway through a Resident Evil game for the first time ever.
Good for you. But why did you jump into the last one in the franchise and the story carries on? It's my first question.
I just wanted to just pick up a game, and then as soon as I turned it on, it then came up with something like play cutscene from Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. I was like, oh shit, I fucked up.
To be honest, I think I know what you're saying, Chris, but from what I've heard, it's very easy to just dive in as well.
Oh yeah, you can. But there's a lot more weight to the story.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, which I'll be finding out as I go through slightly.
How have you been getting on with it, though, Brandon?
I've been enjoying it a lot more than what I thought I would. I mean, I'd say the controller is a bit clunky. Like, it doesn't really move very well. And obviously, if you're trying to interact with stuff, you've got to bloody get right up next to it or on top of it, basically. I've really enjoyed the visuals of it. It's been good. I like the four lords, Mother Miranda. So far, I've beaten 3 of the lords. So I'm on the way to, what's his name? Is it it's not Hasselback.
Heisenberg.
Heisenberg, that's it. Yeah. So I'm on the way to Heisenberg now.
Magneto.
Basically Magneto, yeah. But that cutscene when we was trying to get into the elevator, that was really cool. I really liked that. But so far, I've really enjoyed the shooting and the survival aspect. I do like how ammo is scarce. I really, really do like that. Because I have a feeling like if they made it so just ammo was in just shit abundance, it wouldn't really be a horror game in a way, because it sort of takes away the survival. Yeah, so actually having to survive, making sure you conserve ammo as much as you can, and if you've got no ammo, you basically got a run. It's nice.
What are the encounters like for you, Brandon?
I mean, some of the jump scares are quite nice. I really, really like them. I like how the story is developing. I think that's quite nice.
You've done Lady D then?
Of course, I've done Lady D and her 3 sisters all in one.
Simp.
Well, 3 daughters, not 3 sisters. Sorry. I best clarify that 3 daughters, not sisters. But yeah, I found them all pretty cool, but very underwhelming.
Yeah,
the 3 daughters were very, very underwhelming.
That's what I've
Lady
heard.
D, on the other hand, that was quite nice and climactic. I really enjoyed that.
I think because I've seen the boss fight. I remember before it came out, everyone was like, "Yeah, she's gonna transform," and then what happened? Yep,
transforms. Yeah.
So
I kind of thought she would, but I really did wish the 3 daughters put up more of a fight. Because they were just very, very underwhelming. They're very gimmicky. After a while, the first time you fight them, you're obviously quite panicky. You don't know how to deal with it. But then after you beating the first one, the other 2 are just sort of nothing, in a way.
Yeah.
Well, just you wait till you play it on hardcore.
I would say that's probably going to be my next adventure.
You got the platinum on it, Chris, or are you close to getting it?
I'm very, very close.
Yeah.
I still haven't got around to doing it, but there's literally 2 trophies left, and they're both for the extra sort of add-on arcade mode, shall we say, that you unlock afterwards.
Okay,
isn't it hard as balls?
Mercenaries?
Yeah, pretty much. So you basically got to get a really high score, get S rank, which I've done for some missions, but some of them are so difficult.
I did kind of enjoy Mercenaries on Resi 4, but at the same time, I don't know. I think it was the time limit. I think it's whenever there's a game with like a time limit, I'm like,
My favourite version of it is on which one? Revelations 2. The mode on that is so much better. I really like that mode. I've played that for ages, and I even got #1 in the world at one point. When the game, this first game. It's like with my boy Barry Burton. Yes.
Oh, Barry Burton.
Always Barry. Perfect. That's the one thing that holds Resident Evil 8 back. No Barry Burton.
Barry Burton.
0 out of 10. Completely unplayable.
But I'm really happy you're having a good time with Resi 8, Brandon.
Yeah, because some of the other two things I just also want to mention, just as a complete novice to it, I really, really liked, that part where it's sort of like PT/Silent Hill. When you're, we've got that mannequin of your wife. I thought that was pretty cool.
I basically
the bit that shit everyone up.
Yeah. Like with the fetus baby crawling around, and it's all you could hear.
Yeah, some delightful sound design in that bit.
Yeah, that was really, really cool. However, this next bit I've got a slight gripe with, and it's the fact that it goes from playing Silent Hill and then turns into a platformer. Like I died more in the platform bit rather than the actual survival horror bit. Like that sort of took away, because that part of the game, like there's so many areas I missed, and this is another thing. I hate that you can't backtrack.
I think you can.
You can't. I've missed one of the choices at Dimitri's castle.
Oh no, you can't go back to her castle, but like the actual village, you can go back to apparently.
I'd love to be able to explore more.
I kind of see it as like the Four Lords. Their sections are kind of like Zelda dungeons. Like you go there, but you only go there the once, and then you never return again. But the main hub you keep going back to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I missed bits, but I got everything on my second playthrough. No one knew what was coming up, and it's pretty obvious when you're making a transition from the hub to the area.
That's cool. I do want to play Resi 8, but I think, as you know, I want to just binge all the Resi games from start to finish, from 1 to 8.
I would say that's what I was tempted to do, but I thought I'll just play 1, see how I get on, and
I think maybe with like Resi 8, I think if you played 7 and then gone to 8, I think you'd be fine. Would you say that, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I really like 7 as well. That was like one of my favourites in the franchise. But I prefer 8 just gameplay-wise, because it basically just takes the core aspect of 7 and just pretty much evolves every gameplay aspect of it.
Did you play?
Everything's core polished.
Did you play the DLC for 7? I think this is.
I did, yes.
I was like, I asked it, and I was like, I think this is a stupid question, but.
Yeah, I've played all of them. The only one I don't care for is the one where you just literally playing poker.
Okay, I don't know. All I know is like on the DLC, there's like one of the bosses is basically like a boxing match.
What?
Yeah, there's no, it's just in context, you're playing as one of the antagonists' brother,
right?
And in it, you don't use any guns. It's all just like fist fighting. It's established like he lives out in like the wilderness, out in the swamps, and he's a big lad. So you just see all the monsters going around, all the stuff that took you like tons and tons of shotgun ammo to take down. This guy just goes up and just like suplexes them.
You can get like a massive like power fist later on or something like that.
It's very silly, but it's Resident Evil. It's always been a bit silly. It's always been a bit silly.
What about make me think. You guys? So obviously I've been playing Resident 8. What about you guys? What have you guys been up to?
Dan, you want to go first?
You go first, Chris.
Fine, I'll go first. So I got sidetracked by of not being able to get all the trophies on Resident Evil 8 because I accidentally got a PS5. It just fell into my lap.
It fell into your lap along with the credit card that came out with it.
Yeah, and when I say it fell into my lap, I mean it nearly broke both my legs because it's a behemoth. It's huge. It's ginormous. You can level a house with this thing. So yeah, I shall be probably hollowing it out and making it into some kind of battleship at some point. But before then, I'm going to play some games. Then.
Yeah, what games did you get? I saw you got Ratchet and Clank.
I got Ratchet and Clank, so that was part of the bundle. And that's like the only true PS5 game I've got at the moment.
Yeah.
The other game I've got, which is built in, which I have completed, and I really loved it, was the built-in game Astro's Playroom. Basically just like a kind of like a Mario 64.
I've heard good.
In a way, yeah.
I've heard good things about it.
It's really good. It's not very long. It's basically a glorified tech demo. But
yeah, I've also heard that.
I think if you want to do everything, it takes about 4 hours, give or take. If you want to find
That's
everything.
cool.
For a free game, it's great.
Will you be playing Ratchet and Clank?
I have been playing it, yeah.
Okay.
Only sort of like off and on.
Yeah.
I could like pick it up for like an hour and then put it down again.
How's it going with it?
It's very good. All I'll say is, if you played a Ratchet and Clank game before,
You played them all.
It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same gameplay.
Yeah. Like, but it looks like it must look fantastic.
Oh, it looks glorious.
Yeah.
The amount of detail, like when things are blowing up, all the bolts flying towards you, it's kind of amazing how much stuff is on the screen. There's another cool couple of effects, like one way you've basically got like a dash, but it makes like multiple copies of yourself. It's pretty sweet. And the last thing, and it kind of messes with my brain a bit, but it's called what's it called? Rift Apart. And there's basically like little rifts in space and time that you sort of pull yourself into. But when it does, like the screen transitions, like changes like the entire environment. It's I suppose a little bit like Portal.
Oh, that's cool.
But it kind of melts your brain for a bit for like the first couple of times you do it. You're sort of like, what? It feels like I'm being pulled towards it, but then I'm not. I'm like, it's hard to explain. But it's a cool effect though.
I've only played Ratchet Gladiator, and I really want to play like a whole load of them. But then, as you say, they're probably it's just the same game. But I want to go through them.
The only other one I've played is the PS4 remake of the PS2 one. I did. That's the only other one I've played. But I played that and I started playing Rift Apart. And it's like its controls exactly the same. It's the same game.
I don't know if I'd lose anything by just jumping straight into like whatever. I just jumped straight into Gladiator, and I didn't think I'd lost anything of the story or whatnot.
Nah, in this one, there's a few characters I don't recognise, but like a couple I do. So I know who Crackton Quark is. I know who Dr. Nefarious is. That's about all I need to know.
Have you met Rivet yet?
Yeah, you get that quite early on in the game.
Yeah.
It's only like an hour in or so.
Yeah. And
like the stuff before like the time rift and thing is literally just like the tutorial bit when it all kicks off.
How did she play any different to Ratchet or?
Completely identical.
Yeah.
So much so, like even all like your weapon upgrades, all your experience and that was completely interchangeable. Exactly the same. So if one person gets a gun, the other person miraculously gets the same gun. I don't know how that works, but let's not question it.
It runs like that. No, it definitely looks really good. All I've heard is a lot of praises. I've heard getting a platinum is piss easy.
Yeah, I think that it was in the PS4 remake as well. It's
not that's a bad thing, you know.
No.
But I don't.
I think it's more good.
I think it's only meant to be like 10 hours or so long.
Yeah, well, when I finally finish it, I'll let you know. Yeah. All I'll say is, if you're thinking of paying £70 for it, don't.
No.
There's no game is worth £70.
No.
That's why I haven't bought any other games yet.
No.
What I have done, though, is if you have PS Plus, you can download a load of, for free, just like PlayStation 4 titles, like greatest hits. There's about 30 titles in there.
When I think it was early this year when I bought the latest COD. I actually got the version where you get the PS5 version, so when I eventually get a PS5, I can just put that straight onto my PS5.
Yes, I've noticed with certain games I can get like a free upgrade, like a Doom Eternal, for example. That's got a free PS5 upgrade. And of course,
it really should be free, but hey.
Yeah. Well, on the plus side, one of the first things I downloaded because it had to be done, I could port over Bloodborne, and I've completed Bloodborne so many times, but I haven't played it on the PS5 yet with a different controller. Therefore, it's a new game.
Win.
So yeah, any excuse to play that again with the new controller. Actually, I must say
I was gonna say, does it play smoother considering it's on PS5, or is it still the same?
It's literally exactly the same.
Okay.
From what I can gather, nothing's changed. It's literally just a straight port. But the controller's pretty good. Controller's got a bit of heft to it. But the touchscreen on it's really, really precise. The one on PS4 was good, but this one's even better. And the triggers are quite weighty as well. It's got what it's called adaptive triggers.
Yeah, I heard
so basically what that equates to is like the harder you press down the triggers, like the different outcomes will be in game. So, say for example, in Ratchet and Clank, there's one gun called the Enforcer. If you like just hold down the trigger about halfway down, it'll fire one shot. If you push the trigger all the way down, it will do like 2 shots. But yeah, if you want a good grasp of how the controller works, just play Astro's Playroom because that's got basically every level's around the gimmick about. That's I can't speak. Attached to the controller.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Like, are you what? Obviously, Demon's Souls at some point, but is there any other games for the PS5 you'll be thinking of getting?
It is pretty much just Demon's Souls at the minute. I'll get Miles Morales as well.
Yeah.
Like, I did want the PS4 version, but now I've got the PS5. I'll get that. I need to look at Final Fantasy VII Remake because I do have that on PS4. So I should be able to port that over, but I don't know if I get the upgrade with that or not. I need to look into that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that works because Square Enix have been a bit weird with it. So you'd have to have a look. But if you do play it integrated, I'd definitely like to hear your thoughts on it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I need to run through it again anyway.
Yeah, I'll need to go through it at some point myself.
I need to do it live. That's what I need to do.
Yeah. At least you won't have many block scenes.
Well, don't know about
that. Okay.
So again, 2 games I've had where I've had block cutscenes, and that's Final Fantasy VII and, oddly enough, Ratchet and Clank. I don't know what secrets Ratchet and Clank has that he doesn't want the world to know.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it last episode, both of them.
Probably did, but it's probably because I'm just staring at Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, right now, I know. I know you mentioned them because I've only just edited the last episode. Whoops.
Look, I've got one bit, all right. I just repeat it every week.
Oh, no, it's fine.
So Dan, what have you been up to?
At the moment, I've game wise, I've been binging a whole lot of Pokemon. Because I actually bought Pokemon Sword to Nuzlocke because I wanted to keep not Pokemon Sword, Pokemon Shield to Nuzlocke. So I've just started that Nuzlocke. I because of how that game works. Have you played the new Pokemon, Brandon?
Yeah, I've got Shield.
Okay, so you know how when you go into like a new route, you have you can see the Pokemon.
Yeah.
What I've done is the first one I see, or if I don't see any, it doesn't matter. But the first one I see is what I have to catch.
Okay.
So I literally my first encounter was the sheep Pokemon, the Wooloo. So I instantly saw it and I was like, oh man, that's what I have to get. So it like disappeared, but I was like, well, I've already seen it. I know I have to get that. So when it reappeared, I went and got it.
What about for that central hub area? You know how there's that big open field?
The wild area.
Yeah, because obviously you've got to bypass that a couple times to get to different areas. Like, would you still only catch the first one you encounter there? Or say, for example, you know, like as you got to go to the very far left, you'll see like the dark, was it the steel flying type Corvus?
Yeah.
Like, would you still register that as a Pokemon you can catch, or whether it's I've already caught Wooloo very first early.
So with the wild area, in each area of the wild area is its own section. So because I actually loaded up Pokemon Sword because I wanted to catch. I wanted the new Pseudo Legendary Dragapult, so I managed to get the second evolve form, and the area you get that on the where you've caught it, it has that area, not just wild area. So you can only get that at the Lake of Outrage. So it says got at the Lake of Outrage. So each area of the wild area is its own route, effectively.
Okay.
Which is good. So it means you can get a whole load of encounters in the wild area instead of just one.
That's good.
Now I've done a Nuzlocke on Pokemon Sword. I did the rules slightly differently to you.
Yeah.
So what I did is, obviously you can see the Pokemon on the screen, but you also see like grass rustling on occasion.
Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking like, where's that as an alternative?
So the way I did it is just like, I don't go for the ones to see. I'll just wait to see the grass rustle, and then walks in and see what that is because that's random.
Yeah. Maybe I should have done that. I don't know. I've seen because of how Sword and Shield is. I've seen like a few mixture of rules with the encountering.
Yeah.
So I think it's what I've seen. Like some people just say they just get onto a new route and just close their eyes and just walk into grass. Yeah, and I might just do that myself. Well, I'm going to try and do that over encountering, but like Route 1, you literally get there and instantly you see a Pokemon and you're like, well, that's what I'm going to get. Like, there was no way I couldn't not get that. But then when I got to Route 2, I was going to try and do that. But then I got into like, let's do the catching thing. I was like, oh. But then afterwards, as soon as I could control again, I saw a Mon and I was like, well, I've got to get that. I didn't even want it, but I had to get it. It's only because I used it on my Pokemon Sword playthrough. So, but by the end, I'll have different Mons. I've started with Grookey this time because I started with Scorbunny last time.
I really, really like Scorbunny.
Scorbunny's my favourite.
I don't know what it is, but that plaster on the nose, it just tickles me. Scorbunny,
then Grookey, and so I like Sobble more now, mainly because I've been watching the Pokemon anime, the new that dropped the other week, and Sobble was really cute in it. So I like Sobble more, but I think it's the weakest in that evolution line. Is the weakest in design.
Mm.
Not I think. So I picked Sobble as my original starter.
Yeah.
So. But I think his design is quite good because of one simple reason. And it's like he starts off all shy and nervous about everything.
And he's like
then he gets snapper. Then he's like his middle phase. He's like sort of awkward emo thing. but then by the end of it, he's kind of almost like James Bond. He's like cool, calm, and collected. So he's like really like grown up.
I'm not going to look at it, but I'm not sure if it's got a really cool, interesting secret ability. I'm not sure if it's in the actual in Pokemon Sword and Shield or just in Radical Red. But I think I know it's in Radical Red, but I'm not sure if it's in Sword and Shield, where when you use an attack, it changes the Pokemon's typing to that attack, so you get more stab, which is pretty cool.
Oh, like the Chameleon Pokemon.
Yeah, it's the other ability on the Chameleon Pokemon. But Sobble is kind of another chameleon. Yeah, Kecleon.
I was just trying to think how you pronounce it.
Yeah. So.
But I was about to say, just going back just a little bit, with regards to the wild area, how you tackled it. What I did is I did the same as like the grass rustling, but I went back and caught one Pokemon there for like every gym leader you beat.
Right. Okay.
So I could go back there, so I can catch like another 8.
Okay. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I've seen a few people make those rules where they say like 2 encounters in each section. I think I'm still going to do 1 in each section. But I don't know. I still have a whole load of encounters. It's not like I'm not going to have many.
I think all in all, I lost 4 by the time I finished them as well. I did get it done.
I think it's some of the later fights in that game can be tricky if you're not careful.
The hardest one by far is the 8th gym leader, the dragon one.
It's like Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon there's one fight in that which is ridiculous. Like trying to Nuzlocke them, you'll probably get to that one fight, and then I could see people just losing to that one fight.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Just a heads up, the 8th gym leader, it's a double battle. That's where I lost one of my Pokemon, because I totally forgot it was a double battle, and the Pokemon in my second slot was not equipped to fight dragons. I was like, oh shit.
Is it? I can't. It's been a while, so I say it's been a while.
Yeah.
I only played it last year, but it's still a while.
Yeah, well, just a heads up, because that caught me off guard, and that lost me, I think, a couple of Pokemon doing that. It's like, oh no, I wouldn't want to put him there for doing that. Yeah.
I will admit, I have got one. It's going to sound like a really weird compliment I've got for Sword and Shield, but I like, in terms of realism, I like how it's the champion who actually tries to solve the world problem rather than the 10-year-old boy.
Well, it's not like that's not happened before, because you have in Pokemon Gold and Silver you have Lance, and that's also still happening in Black and White. And actually, to be fair, it's happened in every game except Red. Well, it's not really anything in Red, Blue, and Yellow, but in Gold, in Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4, and Gen 5, it's all.
You're listing off quite a lot of them.
Yeah, I can't remember Gen. Not really. I don't know. Really, with Gen 6. No, not really Gen 6, and not really Gen 7. But then, I think the thing is with Gen 8, the Leon and President Rose have like a bit of a connection, so it's a bit more personal in some ways.
No.
What was that?
Surely.
Oh.
Sorry, did you just hear that in the background?
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, I was getting interrupted by the father.
That's all right. My mum came in and was like, I've got some cocoa powder. I'm like, thanks, Mum.
Okay, let's cut this bit. Egg.
Egg.
Cut it out.
Send the egg.
Rather than like usual film design where it's like, and action. Ours is just egg.
Egg.
This episode, definitely. I started Pokemon Shield Nuzlocke, but I've also been trying to kind of finish my Pokemon Ruby Nuzlocke, which I started so long ago, and I kept losing because I really wanted to use Trico, and Trico is just not powerful enough in Gen 3 because it's so attack based and Grass is special, so it's just so underwhelming, and I didn't want to play it easy and pick Mudkip and get a Swampert.
What I'd say for Nuzlocks is, generally speaking, you should go for the fire type starter.
Yep.
Generally, you don't get a fire type until about mid-game.
Fire types, for some reason, are really rare, especially in Gen 4. Gen 4 is really bad. It's one of my pet peeves about Gen 4.
It's only like 11 in the entire game.
What, in Gen 4?
Yes, I know it's really low.
No, Gen 4 is really bad. If you don't start with Chimchar, the only other fire Pokemon you can get is Ponyta. Like, at least Ponyta is actually really decent in Gen 4 because it has the split, but it's still a bit ridiculous that the only other fire Pokemon you get is Ponyta.
I'd say Gen 2 is quite forgiving in that manner because you got Houndour quite early on.
Do you? I thought it was in Kanto.
Like, you get Houndour just before you reach the normal type gym.
Do you? It's been a while. I don't know. I can't remember.
Because he hangs around just around about the daycare area, doesn't he, Chris?
I was gonna say I've played through Crystal and Gold very recently, but I never once bumped into a Houndour because I think you can catch them there, but they are very very rare.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the Gen 2 games as much anymore.
Any reason?
I think taking away nostalgia, I think they are the weak. I think it's probably the weakest generation. I think the actual Pokédex is really underwhelming. I think the Gen 2 Pokédex is the worst selection of Pokemon ever created. Like designs and iconic, it's really like there's a nostalgia, but if in terms of actual gameplay and how good they are, I think it's the worst selection of Pokemon.
Wow, that is a controversial take.
I know it
generally,
is.
Generally, the lists I see like normally rate like Gen 2 as the best one.
No, I really like. I just don't think there's many really good Pokemon in Gen 2 at all.
I'm just looking at a Pokedex now. I'm just have a quick browse.
Like there are really good Pokemon. Like Heracross is amazing. Crobat.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got Tyranitar, and obviously, I'm gonna ignore the legendaries because they're the legendaries. There are a lot of really good Pokemon, but
yeah, it's probably only about 5 which stand out.
like look, like you got Sunflora. Are you gonna use a Sunflora? Have you ever used a Sunflora?
Like to be fair, I think in my first ever playthrough when I was a kid, yes, I did use Sunflora.
I like Ariados and Ledian,
I did again. I used Ariados in my first ever playthrough just because the instant just graphically looked really nice.
And like Gen 2 is just so destructive on grass Pokemon. So if you start with Chikorita, it's just ridiculous. Like there's no gym it's good against in Johto. Even you could even say like, oh, what about the Ghost Gym? But it's like no, because they're Ghost and Poison. So even that, I'm taking away nostalgia here, but I like the same with probably all of us. Like there's a lot of nostalgia with Gold and Silver. I played Gold to death. My Gold cannot save anymore because I've played it that much. I can't save it. So if I want to play Gen 2, I have to emulate it or buy it on my 3DS.
Okay. Well, I'll say this for Gold and Silver. They have one of the very best completion bonuses of like any game. It's like you've beaten the game. You've unlocked the whole first game again.
Yeah, that was amazing. I really, really liked that. I wish later games did it.
I just wish all other games did it. It's like, oh, you've beat Demon Souls 3. Or Dark Souls 3 even. Here's Dark Souls 2. Well done.
It was really cool. I love the battle against Red. I've got a wallpaper where it's Gold versus Red and it looks so good. Like Red just is this menacing presence and it's just amazing. So you don't even realise that Silver is Giovanni's son.
Well, if you kind of go by the anime, Ash is meant to be Giovanni's son.
What?
It's heavily implied. There's a lot of the
what?
Easter eggs. Yeah, seriously.
What?
This is why his mum lives on her own because she's separated from him because it's said like Diana's like used to be quite rebellious, so she like hung around with Giovanni and that, and then she moved. She had to get away from all the Team Rocket stuff.
Okay.
So she moved, but only to like the next town. So Ash could kind of still see his dad.
Oh, really?
It's heavily implied.
I think I heard recently that they were going to say something about his dad, but I don't know how true that was in like the anime. So I've only got like 6 episodes left of the English speaking anime, but before I'm up to date. because obviously it all dropped on the Gen 8 anime all dropped onto Netflix the other week. So I'm just at like the big section at the end where with all the legendaries.
I stopped watching this series. I couldn't tell you exactly when, but it's about the same time as like the fourth Pokemon film came out, like Mewtwo Returns. It's about that time I sort of stopped watching.
Yeah.
So about
I'm
about 3/4 of the way through Johto, I think.
Yeah, I'm enjoying Pokemon Journeys, but I think it feels its focus doesn't feel right. I think it has a weaker focus because Ash's Pokemon really don't feel fleshed out like the past 2 generations they did. Like he caught one of his Pokemon I didn't until recently. I hadn't seen for over 10 episodes. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I've got this." I was like, "What?" Whereas
Takes it out of the Pokeball, it was like, "Oh, it's starved to death."
but then like Sun and Moon, you had all the Pokemon were there pretty much most episodes, and they were really fleshed out. But except for one Pokemon, his other 3 feel really underdeveloped, and it's really annoying.
Well, we all know, hand on heart, that Ash's best Pokemon is Bulbasaur, because it's Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur appears in the Sun and Moon anime.
Does he?
Yeah.
Good, because he's Bulbasaur.
Like, Bulbasaur appears, Muck appears, obviously Tauros. I'm not sure, and Squirtle does, but it's like it's just like an Easter egg. It's like, oh yeah, there's Squirtle.
Oh, we were on about egg tattoos earlier. Nobody said execute. Does nobody want an execute tattoo?
That's why I said something about Pokemon.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, obviously, we're missing off another one. You could have get just Chansey.
Chansey.
Yeah. And Blissey as well, I guess.
Yeah, and Happiny.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's plenty of opportunities there.
Did anyone ever use a Chansey?
No, I've never have.
Trying to find that thing in the Safari was a freaking nightmare.
I never have, but what I've been told is it's just like, you want to do a Nuzlocke, here's easy mode. Use a Chansey / Blissey.
She is so tanky.
It's got the highest health, I think, out of all the Pokemon.
Yeah, I believe it does.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I was always... Yeah, Snorlax is pretty chunky.
Oh, Snorlax is so good. Like, I think if I play like Gen 1 or Gen 3 or the Gen 3 remakes, you just gotta have a Snorlax. It's just so... It's like one of the best counters for Sabrina.
Doesn't Steelix have a really high base HP?
I think he's one of the highest base defenses.
Yeah, I was about to say defense. Not sure about health. Definitely defense.
I just like the image of this towering metallic snake that's being brought down by a small ember.
I love Steelix.
It's like to match and it just dies.
Steelix is
I think
so cool.
that's what I used. Like, I think obviously I would have had Typhlosion at the time.
Of
course. Just using flamethrower and just melting it.
Have you ever looked at the base stats of Typhlosion and then looked at the base stats of Charizard?
No, I haven't.
They're exactly the same.
Coincidence?
When I mean exactly the same, they both have the same base health, attack, defense, special, attack, special defense, speed. Literally exactly the same. They basically just copy and pasted Charizard into Typhlosion when they did Gen 2.
Well, that's cool and all, but still not good. Still not as good as Bulbasaur. Okay. What's
I think we're all split here. I feel like
on the subject. What's like the most disappointing one you've ever used? Like you really wanted to use it, but you always thought it's actually just a bit shit.
I think for me, it's always
quite
kind
a few
of
options for this. Let me bring up the Pokedex of 1,000 disappointments.
Yeah, there's quite a lot. I think for me, the most obvious is probably like Chikorita / Meganium. I think it's such I think Meganium's design is amazing, but it's in a game that is so unfair against grass Pokemon. It just doesn't shine at all. I think there's just so many Pokemon that they're just when they came out, they're just in games that are just so unforgiving onto them.
I'm just going through a Pokedex now, see what I can find.
So I'll tell you my pick. More because it takes absolutely ages to get hold of one. But in the first gen, Porygon. It takes forever to get him. You get 900.
Yeah, Porygon is quite underwhelming.
You finally get him, and he's crap.
I've never used the Porygon. I really want to use one because Porygon 2 and Porygon Z are amazing.
Oh, mate, I've never really used the evolutions, but in the base game, it's just because he takes so long to get. He's like really difficult to get a hold of. So when you finally get him, and he's just massively underwhelming, you feel ripped off.
Yeah.
Okay, I've just on the online Pokedex, I just sorted the Pokemon by their base stats. Eternatus has the highest base defense, followed by Aggron, then Shuckle, then Steelix.
Oh yeah, of course, Shuckle's right up there.
I thought Shuckle would be number 1.
Wait, when it says Aggron, is it Mega Aggron?
No, just normal Aggron.
Oh really?
Oh wait, yeah, sorry. Aggron / Mega Aggron. That's a Steelix / Mega Steelix.
Yeah.
And then it's Shatterkata, and then normal Steelix with a base defense of 200. But if we're going on base HP, as you mentioned, Blissey has the highest, followed by Eternatus, then Chansey. Freaking insane.
So would you say you've got one, Brendan, for most underwhelming?
Part of me wants to say unknown, because the concept of it just seems really cool. Because I will admit, when I first had Gold and Silver, I wanted to get as many different unknowns as I could.
Unknown's interesting because obviously each one hidden power obviously relates to a different typing. So it's weird because you get it and you have to work out what the typing is of a hidden power. So but then once you know, you can be like, oh, all right, I'm doing this gym. I can use this unknown that has hidden power grass or hidden power fire, whatever. And you can kind of counter gyms like that. But then you also know it's psychic at the end of the day. And if it's like a dark or ghost Pokemon, you're just going to get trashed.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I've always liked unknown. Like you say, Brandon, I just think it was like just an interesting design choice.
Oh yeah.
But I know unknown kind of puts people into two camps. People like it because of that, and then other people just go, "It's just the alphabet." That's amazing.
I mean, I feel like they could have had a lot more adventure rather than just have an alphabet if they went for like Chinese characters. An infinite number of unknowns.
Another reason to like unknown. They're in the third movie, and the third movie is, in my opinion, the best one.
The third movie is really cool. Although Brock, I think Brock has some. I can't remember what Brock does. There was something I was going to say.
Well, anyway. I love the line where James is looking at all the unknown and says, "Oh, I haven't seen this many strange letters since they answered a personal ad once."
I really want to watch the fifth film because there's a line with Brock, and I think it's the main female character they meet, and Brock goes, "Hi, I'm Brock. Do you want to be my girlfriend?" Like as like the first opening line, and it's so funny.
Who doesn't love Brock?
Brock is amazing.
Amazing.
Because I turned my frying pan into a drying pan. The most iconic Brock line ever.
Okay, I think that Brock and James deserve their very own spin-off TV series.
Oh, James is amazing.
Maybe they can become like a detective in like 70s sitcom or something. They deserve it.
They're both so funny. Like you don't realise how funny they are.
Can anyone do a really good James laugh?
I used to be able to, but obviously puberty's happened since then.
Let's see if I can pull one off.
Demonetized.
That was really good, to be fair. So I have started a new anime this week. It's called Oddtaxi, and it's really interesting. It's about is it anthropomorphic animals, and they live in must be like some kind of Tokyo or some sort. I don't know, just a city. And
An
it's
anime set in Tokyo. That's unheard of.
I know, and it's just basically about a walrus taxi driver, basically picking up passengers and doing just driving them around the city. Obviously, there's a few other things, but it's very much like there's just so many different characters, and it's interesting to see how they all relate to each other. So like, there's an idol group, and then one of the idols, she's like kind of dating / fake dating one of the taxi driver's mates, who's lying that he's really rich, and it's interesting how he's getting his money, and it's really interesting.
Okay. So nothing.
When I first looked at Oddtaxi, my immediate thoughts were more, is it like Beastars?
No.
Or obviously, I know there's more of the mystery element because I did watch the Gigux review about it.
I've not seen that because I want to finish the anime.
Yeah, but it seems quite interesting. I feel like most people, like most average anime fans, would probably just get put off by the art. But
I love
a lot of the times, for these like really golden series, like you've just got to ignore your mental perception of what the characters look like, the fact that they're animals, but still see them as unique characters.
Yeah,
like that's one of like I will admit that's the first prejudice I had with Beastars was, oh my god, they're all animals. Like, how is it going to reach out? And now I'm just like, I really want to fucking watch Beastars.
Have you seen it?
I've not seen it yet. No.
Watch it.
I know. I really, really want to. I need to get around to do it. I might watch it this week on my train journey to and from work.
I want to watch season 2 of Beastars. The opening song to Oddtaxi and Beastars, to be fair, but the intro to Oddtaxi, that song is so good. It's got this really good saxophone at the end, and it just gets me every time I hear it.
Didn't they win an award for anime music?
What did?
Beastars.
Probably. Like, I'm not surprised. Its opening is phenomenal. Like,
yeah, I think it did win best opening for Crunchyroll Awards.
It should have. Like, it's I know you've not seen it, Chris, but have you seen it, Brandon?
Seen what? Sorry.
The opening.
I haven't actually. No.
It's all stop motion.
Oh wait, it's the clay, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, I have seen it.
Yeah, it's all stop motion. It's absolutely fantastic. It's so good.
Yeah, I really like it when series have their really unique openings, which is why I really like the Dorohedoro opening.
Yeah, that's good. Have you seen Durarara, Brandon?
No.
Okay, well, if I wanted to say what Oddtaxi is like, Durarara is like Oddtaxi is like Durarara.
Okay.
Where Durarara is about I've forgotten which district of Tokyo it is, but it's about that district, and it's all about the characters. Like, you have a central character, but it isn't really about him. It's about the characters in that district. So like, Oddtaxi is very similar to Durarara.
Yeah, I saw that from Gigux review, and
yeah, he's not the only one to say.
Yeah, I obviously I really want to watch it just so I can formulate my own opinion on it. But yeah, I've just got to get around to doing it.
Well, you start another anime?
Sorry?
Did you start another anime?
I've started some of the new season stuff from here, and obviously this season we've still got the continuation of Tokyo Revengers
and To Your Eternity.
And obviously To Your Eternity. I think, did we talk about To Your Eternity yet, Dan?
No, we haven't. Not really. Also, we've spoken about it to each other, but not on the podcast.
Shall we give it a brief mention, do you think?
Yeah, we don't have to go too much into it, because I think if people are interested, they should really watch it, because it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
I'll say TLDR, if you haven't heard or seen To Your Eternity, please watch it. It's one of these animes where, like Clanad, like Angel Beats, where it's got a really nice premise to it, but my God, every now and then the tears start to come out. It is really strong and powerful like that.
The author of the manga wrote A Silent Voice, which the anime film of A Silent Voice is my all-time favourite film and probably my all-time favourite anime.
I've still not seen it.
I watched it. The last time I watched it was on my birthday, and that was the first time I didn't actually cry at it. But I think I just wasn't in the right. I think because it was my birthday, I wasn't in that headspace to cry at that film. But
Screw you guys, I'm not crying on my birthday.
But Silent Voice is amazing, and you can see the emotion that she wrote into A Silent Voice is very much there in To Your Eternity, and like the first episode is really emotional with what happens to
the boy and the dog.
The boy, and it just. I saw a lot of people say, "Oh, that was the strongest episode," but then you have like the next section with the kid and her kind of like foster sister, which is really good, and like the kind
of. Oh my God, that bit with the bear when the dog was going, "It hurts, it hurts." Yeah. Oh my God, I was swelling up so much there.
And then obviously that same emotion carries on with Gugu and Reem.
Yeah.
And that's where it's kind of ended the first half of the season.
I really like the arcs in this. Like, they're just so beautiful. It's not very often where an anime has arcs, and each arc really impacts, just everything. Like, it is really, really clever like that.
Like the last arc, the end is really, really powerful, but it's also so sad.
Yeah, because for the longest time, I thought surely the death and dying is finished, but no. It comes back and it's going to continue.
I knew. I think we all knew it was going to. I think you could kind of tell because they do show Gugu's true face in the opening. So I think
I've not been paying attention to it because honestly, I don't want to get spoiled for it.
So you could kind of tell something was gonna happen. Like you could tell his true adult face was gonna get revealed at some point, but you didn't kind of know how that was gonna get revealed. I thought my theory was completely destroyed, but I think also people on the internet spoiled that for me. But oh well.
Yeah, I did read like quite a few spoilers of people saying, just imagine how strong he's going to be when he gets Gugu's fire.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as I read that, I was like, okay, we'll know what's going to happen to Gugu then.
What I did actually give a skim read through the latest chapter of it just to see where it was, and oh my gosh, it's definitely looks like it's turned a massive 180, like in a way I did not expect. I can't even like say what it does, but I was like, I did not expect it to be here. Like,
all right,
I can't spoil it, but this To Your Eternity seems like it's going to be a long series.
Oh really? You think it's going to? Obviously, we're guaranteed at least 24, but do you feel like it's going to be one of these rare animes which get more than 50?
I don't know, but like where it is in the manga is like nowhere close to where we are right now.
I would say, how many chapters are there, and how long is each chapter?
I don't know, but in terms of like location and everything, it's like it's not even close. It's ridiculously not even close.
Really?
Without spoiling it, it's not even close.
Makes it seem more futuristic, though.
Yeah. But
interesting.
Definitely, To Your Eternity is one of the best anime I've seen this year.
Yeah, I'm not going to be surprised if it doesn't get nominated for a Crunchyroll award this year.
I think it will do really well. I don't think Oddtaxi. I think Oddtaxi will get an award, but I don't know how well it will do.
Oh, we'll definitely get nominations.
Yeah, but I think To Your Eternity will get a lot. I think it definitely will.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've apparently watched Clarkson's Farm, haven't you, Brandon?
Yeah. So, I never expected myself to actually want to get an allotment, but since watching Clarkson's, all right. We'll just do a throwback. Back when I was in year 10, so 14, 15, in the UK, for listeners around the world who don't know, we used to go through this period of what's called work experience. And for me, when I did my work experience, I actually did 2 weeks in agricultural engineering. So my job was to basically assemble tractors, repair tractors, and look after the dogs which the owners had. And at that time, I was flat out saying this, I did not enjoy doing that. But then, obviously, recently, when Clarkson's Farms came out, and I saw him working on the farms, looking after all these machines and stuff, I'm just like, that looks really, really cool. And it's so educational. I did not expect how educational it was going to be. Oh my goodness. Like, it really puts into perspective, like English weather and just how catastrophic it can be to just farming. It's absolutely mental. For those of you, like Dan, yourself, Chris, I highly recommend Clarkson's Farm. It is absolutely eye-opening. Absolutely eye-opening.
Maybe it looks. I don't know.
Obviously, it's still got Clarkson's, his sense of humor and stuff, but it felt more than just his humor. Obviously, it's him, and watching him having to deal with these farm situations is quite comical. But the commentary he gives, and all the steps he has to go through, is really, 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 really interesting.
Okay. Would you be?
Because he also breaks it down into pricing as well, just like, okay, if you're rearing sheep, how much does it cost for the sheep, like for the feed, like how you got to medicate them, like when it comes to the lambing process, what do you need to do? When it comes to like even just like tilling and doing the farm, like if it rains, you can't do anything. Like it's just really, really interesting.
Okay. Would you watch it, Chris?
I wouldn't, but I cannot stand Jeremy Clarkson.
Is it just him as the person you can't understand?
Yeah, I don't like him at all. The nicest thing I can say about Jeremy Clarkson is he once punched, what's his name? Piers Morgan. That's the best thing I can say about him. Yeah. But I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, I really, really... I do like Clarkson's humour. I really do. Obviously, some of his political views can be a bit questionable, but as a character on a TV program, I do like it.
Yeah, it's very much a persona. Like,
yeah.
I think, his persona. I'd happily watch him doing whatever all day because of that persona. But I know where both of you are coming from, and I kind of do agree on both sides. But at the same time, it's entertainment. He's very entertaining.
Yeah. It's like
I think he'll work better as a fictional character.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like what's this called? Keith Lemon is a fictional character.
Oh yeah, many people find him irritating. Like I'm impartial to him.
Yeah.
So I quite liked it when he was doing his bow selector stuff years ago.
Yeah,
I find that quite funny.
That's where Keith Lemon starts.
Keith Lemon came into it in like the series 3, and I always thought he was like the weakest aspect of the show. And then suddenly he skyrocketed. Oh, have you had the misfortune of watching the Keith Lemon film?
No, I don't plan on watching that.
Good, don't.
Yeah,
it's 90 minutes you will never get back.
Yep, that's what I thought. Definitely.
Yeah, it's everything you could imagine and so much worse.
Oh my gosh.
Oh dear. But let's talk about a good film that I did watch this week. I watched on Amazon Prime. I watched Tomorrow War.
Is it a good film?
Adverts for that.
That was really good.
Really?
It's like, it's like 2 hours long. So I don't want to ruin the premise too much, but all I'll say is it's very action heavy. There's a lot of good set pieces, and for a sci-fi film, it rips a lot of stuff off, but it does it in a really good way. I feel it's basically like every sci-fi film you've ever seen thrown into a blender. Like, oh, this scene, oh, it's doing Terminator. Oh, now we're doing Predator. Oh, we're doing Aliens now. Okay. Oh, we're doing The Thing. But yeah, it was good. It had some very funny lines in it, and I highly recommend it.
Okay,
I enjoyed it way more than I thought it would.
I've seen like critics kind of really put it down, but then I've seen a lot of people like you and a few other people on my Facebook being like, "Oh, it's really good." So I kind of don't really know where to stand with it. I guess if I'd have to watch it really to make an opinion.
Yeah, I generally don't listen to critics, but yeah, it's been exactly the same. All the critics have put it down, but everyone I've seen that I know, I've seen it on Facebook, has said it's like such a good film. It's like way better than it has any right to be.
Like,
yeah,
I only see the critics because I'm just scrolling, and then it's like, here's the Tomorrow War, our score. It's like, oh, okay, I didn't really like it. Well, and then I keep scrolling, and then just see a whole load of angry comments. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, so it's 2 hours long, but they change like the settings so often it never gets boring.
Okay.
It's always changing it up. So I do highly recommend it. That's my pick of the week.
Yeah. Like, I think
Chris had a pick of the week. Dan, I feel like you've had a pick of the year for what you've been playing, haven't you?
Yeah. I've been playing. I mentioned it a few times, but I've recently finished my third playthrough on Fire Emblem Three Houses. Have either of you played a Fire Emblem game before, or anything
Not at all.
Like Advance Wars?
The only Fire Emblem game I've played is the very first one that got ported to the GBA just after Smash Bros. Melee came out, and they suddenly got popular. That's the only one I've played there.
Is that the one with Roy?
I believe so. It's been so many years since I played it.
Yeah,
I've still got it.
Yeah, because that was the game that they were making before when Roy was in Smash Bros. But obviously, by the time Smash Bros. Came out, it just said unreleased game or whatever it is. But yeah, that was the game he was going on to.
Yeah, I don't think it's got subtitles. I think it's literally just called Fire Emblem.
It's the only.
First game that came in.
Yeah, it's just called Fire Emblem, but obviously that's not the first Fire Emblem game because the first one is Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon and the Sword of Light, which was put onto the Switch this year finally for Western audiences, which I've got but I haven't played yet, but I will.
They've done that, but they still haven't ported Mother 3 over yet.
Nope.
Get on that.
No.
I think we moaned about that last time as well.
Yeah, we did. But I don't want to go too much into that. But see, I before I played, I bought Three Houses just after I got my Switch last year, but I also bought Fire Emblem: The Sacred Stones on the GBA, and so I played through that because I wanted a more bare bones experience with Fire Emblem before I jumped into Three Houses because Three Houses has all the latest gimmicks of Fire Emblem, so I didn't want to just go straight into that and think, oh, this is how Fire Emblem is. So I played the Sacred Stones and loved it. Sacred Stones is probably more difficult than Three Houses, although you can still make Three Houses as difficult. But I found Sacred Stones far more difficult. But if you've never played Fire Emblem, that is a great first Fire Emblem game to play. It's not one of the more popular ones, but it's still... Actually, no, it is probably one of the more popular ones with fans, but in Nintendo's eyes, it's not. But
I need to play some more Fire Emblem. Like, I did enjoy what I played like all those years ago, but the permadeath thing always put me off. But since I've played like games like XCOM 2, I've come to like it. So maybe I should give it another go sometime.
Well, since Fire Emblem Awakening on the 3DS, you can turn permadeath off. So obviously that's on Three Houses. So I've taken that off. So if a character dies, they come back afterwards. But luckily, my last playthrough, no one ever died. So, or if they did, what you can also do is go back in time, which I think was implemented into the series on the remake of the second game. Okay. So, which I'm gonna have to get at some point. But Three Houses is, to put it simply, is a behemoth. It's a behemoth of a game. As its name suggests, there's 3 houses, and your character is the teacher at a fighting school kind of thing set in a monastery. And when you start the game, you basically get to pick between the 3 houses, and each house is like different. You've got like a house that specializes in more like combat and horse riding, which is the Blue Lions. You have a house that, funny enough, is named after Leicester. Well, not after Leicester, but it links to Leicester, which is the Golden Deer, which is like more archery, which is the house that all the characters are in from the Leicester Alliance, which its influences come from Leicester. And then the final house are the Black Eagles, which are like a more magic-based house. And I say like that's magic, whatever. You can make them, all the characters, whatever you like by the end of the game. But each character has like their own preferred growth. And obviously each house has their own playthrough. So you'll play for, you have each if you pick whatever house you pick, that's the story you're going to play through. And so I started with Golden Deer, and then I picked Black Eagle, and I've recently finished Blue Lions. But there's actually 4 playthroughs of this game, and so I've got the final playthrough to do at some point, which is Black Eagles. So Black Eagles have 2 playthroughs.
I was going to say, like, once you finish doing all your playthroughs, what are you going to do with the game?
I'm going to replay it.
Good answer.
Because it's such a good pick up and play game. That's one of the things I love about it. I can start a battle, put it on sleep, go to work, come back, and continue exactly where I left off. Even if you can even do that and bookmark where you were, close the game, and then start the game up and continue exactly where you were. You can do that on all the Fire Emblems, to be honest, not just Three Houses. Even on Sacred Stones, you can do that.
That's interesting.
So, like, each playthrough is like completely different. The story, well, the first half is split into 2 sections. So, the 2 sections of the games, the best way I can describe it is the first half is Harry Potter. And the second half is Game of Thrones.
I can sort of see how you mean that.
And
in terms of like the house selection, then also all the houses vying for control or whatever.
It's and each house has their own lord character. So you with Fire Emblem, you normally get a lord. So like you both played Smash Bros. So like Marth is a lord character. Pretty much all the characters, all the Fire Emblem characters in Smash Bros. Are all lord characters.
Also, even Ike.
Yeah, Ike's a lord character. Well, he's a lord he's the main character in 2 Fire Emblem games.
I've always wondered sort of the games where they come from, because they look really similar. They play quite similar, so I don't know what it meant for the original games. Like, what contextually wise, like how do they fit in?
Well, each lord is different. So like the lord characters in Three Houses, you have your character who you can name whatever you like, but his or her name is Byleth, and they play a bit like a sword. Like, so they like use swords, magic, well, white magic, and fists. but then you have the other three lords. So for the blue lines, you have Dimitri, and he uses lances, swords, and he can ride cavalry unit. He can do cavalry as well. And then for Golden Deer, you have Claude, and he's like archery, axes, flying units. And then for Black Eagles, you have Edelgard, and she's like axes, heavy armor, and magic.
Alright, so just forgive my ignorance of this, because obviously I've never played a not Final Fantasy Fire Emblem game.
It's okay.
Is it, gameplay-wise, is it turn-based combat, or is it... Like, what sort of game style is it?
So it is kind of turn-based. So it's like turn-based strategy. Like, I see a lot of memes saying it's basically like chess, and it kind of is in a lot of ways. It is basically kind of like chess.
So is there like a movement grid style thing?
Yeah. So you'll have each character have their own movement, and you can change. Each class will have different movements. So like flying and cavalry classes will have more movement than magic classes, but magic classes can get over certain terrain better than other classes, for example. So like each has their own pros and cons, and you'll move all your characters and do their attacking or movement, whatever you want to do, healing, and then the opponent will do theirs, and then it'll be back to you, and then
Oh, fair enough. Because the only other game which I can sort of remember which plays similar to that is Valkyria Chronicles.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the closest one I've come to movement, turn-based combat.
Like, from what I've been saying, how is that different to like XCOM, Chris?
Well, I imagine it plays quite similarly. But you don't have, like you say, is it like the rock paper scissors sort of mechanic? It doesn't have that.
Yeah. When you say like that, you mean like this unit's weak to this thing, but then they're strong against this thing, and then they're
Yeah. Well, in XCOM, it's different between the titles, but I prefer on XCOM 2. You have like 4 different types of unit, and they're all viable in their own way. But so to break it down, like you've got like a heavies expert who can like carry more grenades, which are like limited uses, but they can do a lot of damage over a wide area. But then you've got the sniper, which nearly always can one-shot kill some units.
Yeah.
But he's not very mobile. Okay. But yeah, that's generally how it plays.
Yeah.
I really, really, really highly recommend XCOM 2 to anyone.
Yeah.
Although I will say, please put it on easy difficulty if you've never played one before, because even on easy difficulty, the game is very, very difficult.
I do want to play the XCOM games because, as I've seen what you've done, you can make your own characters. So I know you made me at one point.
Yeah, I did for one of my Twitch streams. I got some of my followers and like made avatars of them.
Yeah.
Which was fun, but as I say, because it's got like the permadeath mechanic, it's like don't get too attached.
Yeah, like that's like exactly the same with Three Houses. Well, just Fire Emblem in general. I've turned it off for Three Houses because I wanted to experience the story without losing any characters, and there are battles in it that are very difficult. The final battle against one of the Black Eagles playthroughs is very difficult, and I did lose a character on that last battle. The only character I lost on that battle, but I did lose one. But I definitely recommend it. It's a very big time sink, I must admit, but I think there are ways. I think I've probably maybe meandered maybe too much. I probably could have sped up my playthroughs a lot, and I've been debating about speeding up my 4th playthrough, which will kind of break the game a bit, but I think I played it 3 times really quite thorough. I'm kind of happy to kind of break the game for the 4th time. because you can make it so like your characters can get the later classes sooner and can be as strong and can be really strong from the get-go if you want. It's a little bit like with Three Houses. It's a little bit like Persona, where you have, in Persona, Chris, where you have the social links.
Yeah, my least favorite part of the game.
Yeah, so that whole thing is exactly in is in it's actually in every Fire Emblem game, but it's really implemented well in Three Houses. In Sacred Stones, it was really hit and miss. It wasn't very good. But in Three Houses, it's really easy to understand, and you get to like understand the characters a lot more. And each character is really well written, and it's interesting seeing how each character relates to different characters across the board. So like, because it's like Harry Potter, so like the different characters from the different houses will interact with each other. And you can recruit other characters from the different houses as well.
All right.
So if there is one like you wanted, you can get them onto your house if you want.
Okay.
Also, there are a few characters that are limited. So like on one of the Black Eagle routes, there's a couple of characters you cannot get unless you do the alternative Black Eagle route, which is the one I need to do. But then there's also certain characters that relate to each lore character that you can't get.
Okay. So let me ask you this then. Because you've played a number of Fire Emblem titles,
Only two.
If someone wanted to get... well, of all two titles you've played, if someone wanted to jump into the series, which title would you recommend more?
Of the two I played, I would say if you wanted more bare bones, like old school, I would say Sacred Stones. But if you want more, really more, I would say easier, a more easier experience, I'd say Three Houses. But I think both the two I've played are both good starting points. Because I've got 5 Fire Emblem games. So I've got Awakening, Fates, and the original one, Shadow Dragon. I know Fates is not a good Fire Emblem game to start with. Awakening's really good to start with, which will probably be the next Fire Emblem game I play. And I'm not sure about Shadow Dragon, how good that is for a starting point.
So one of the critiques I've seen of Fire Emblem with I don't know if Three Houses has it much, but as you say, you've got like different clans and that you can talk to, different houses, whatever, in different games.
Yeah.
But if you like going for completion, you want to do like everyone that you talk to, get them to join your side or whatever. I believe there's an awful lot of like, okay, yeah, you're getting this person on your side, but you're still playing through the entire game just all over again. There's a lot of repetition.
I think Three Houses is very different with that because you have the 3 houses. I've seen a lot of people just be like, I'm not going to recruit anyone from the other house. I'm just going to use my house and then get the other characters you get along the way. And that's like a really simple way of playing 3 houses. Whereas a lot of the other Fire Emblem games, it is a bit more like, I want to get on this mission you can only get this character. So like when I played Sacred Stones, I got every character except one. So I did miss a character.
Yeah, but if you wanted to do that, you just have to replay like the entire game again.
Yeah, and like, but I'm really happy. I'm still happy, despite missing that one character in Sacred Stones. I'm still really happy with that playthrough, and Sacred Stones is a really good game. I remember playing the last battle, and it was really difficult. I actually didn't think I was going to win, to be honest, but it felt so satisfying beating it. It felt like doing like a Dark Souls boss. It was that difficult.
Oh really?
Yeah. Whereas like Three Houses, I think it was just the fact that it was such a long. Each playthrough is so long. I was more just like, oh, I've actually done another playthrough of this. This is really good.
Awesome.
Obviously, because there's 4 playthroughs on Three Houses. I only have 3. I've only got the last one to do, but the first one I did was Golden Deer, and I really, really enjoyed it. And it probably might be the most complete in some ways of the playthroughs, except for one moment which really really soured me a bit. But I guess because it focuses on the Golden Deer characters, it's kind of going to sour the playthrough in some ways. Then I did the first Black Eagle playthrough, and that was really good until I got to the second half, and it then felt like fan fiction. Literally, I've seen a lot of people play that one first, and they say it's their favourite. To me, it feels like fan fiction, 100%. But I still enjoyed it, but it just does feel like fan fiction. And then my third playthrough, I did Blue Lions, and that is kind of joint with Golden Deer is my favourite route. But its back end feels a little incomplete in some ways. It feels like it feels like a self-contained story, but it's probably the route that feels like classic Fire Emblem in terms of what they do, and I kind of know what the final playthrough is, and I've been told not to play Golden Deer and the other the playthrough I still got back to back because it's basically the same story, but you don't focus on the Golden Deer characters.
Alright, so in a nutshell, you've basically got your money's worth out of it.
Yep, definitely.
I think it's after that many hours put into it.
Like 315 still, because I've not picked it up since I completed it, the third playthrough. I needed a break. I just need a break from it right now.
It sounds like a full-time job what you're doing with that.
Oh, yeah.
That's nearly as many hours as I've put into the first Resident Evil game.
But I definitely recommend it. But Fire Emblem has its people have their opinions on the series. Fire Emblem has its reputation.
Yeah, I think for the most part, the people that play Fire Emblem don't really go for completion because it's just too much.
I think
most people are just like one and done.
Yeah, like I'm going pretty far with Three Houses, but some people just play one route and that's it. And then honestly, that's fine. Any route is fine.
Yeah.
And obviously, your experience, your first playthrough of Three Houses will probably be your most special one. Like, I think once I finish my fourth, I'll probably be replaying Golden Deer again.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Egg.
Knew that would come in. I nearly said it first.
No, you're too slow.
Too slow.
My egg hatched first.
Yeah. Which came first, Brandon or the egg?
You know, Brandon, I actually have an egg Yu-Gi-Oh card.
An egg Yu-Gi-Oh card?
Yeah, I'll get it. I'll send it to you after we finish. But it's a dinosaur card, and it's got an egg on it.
Dinosaur card with an egg on it?
Yeah. I think it's like its effect. It can bring out a stronger dinosaur. Or something.
Oh, it sounds like it's got 0 attack, 2000 defense.
Yeah, I think it actually literally does.
Yeah. Yeah, I know which one you're on about.
Yeah.
That's a high defense stat. That's better than Steelix.
And it's a 3-star if I remember correctly as well.
3 or 4.
It's 3 or 4.
Yeah. Oh. Well, Chris, what your plans to play next now that you've got your PS5?
I don't know at the minute. I'm kind of flipping between several other games, but not really committing to anything. I just like pick up and play.
Yeah.
Example, I've been streaming a lot of Metroid, so I've been like playing Samus Returns again on the DS in my spare time.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a good game. I prefer AM2 harder, but I'm going to stream that next week. Probably.
Yeah.
Or maybe this week. Time of recording. But yeah, nothing really. I'll be looking forward to watching the last episode of Loki in
Yes.
3 days' time.
I guess we'll...
So I'll probably talk about that on the next episode once it's wrapped up.
Are you still enjoying it? Because I'm up to date myself.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I like what they're doing with it. It's I've not read any comics or anything. I don't know if it ties into any comic, but it's keeping me guessing. Let's put it that way.
I think it ties it. I think it's influenced by the comics, definitely, because I know Morpheus is a character in the comics, so the TVA must be in the comics in some form. I don't know, but I think it must be in the comics in some shape or form. But I'm really enjoying it. I think my workmate has spoilt something for me for the final. I literally finished the episode that morning, got into work, and he went, You watched the new episode of Loki? I go, yeah. And he's like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, thanks. Now I can start my day after this spoiler. Cheers.
Right. Well, don't say it on here.
Well, why do you think I went blah, 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 blah? I ain't going to tell it you. Like, my mate last night was like, oh, I told him that, and he's like, oh, can you tell me? He's like, I'm probably going to forget. I'm like, I'm not going to tell you, even if you do forget.
I mean, who'd have thought, right? It was eggs behind everything all along. What a twist.
Out of basic all this time.
Like, it came from that, and now we're here.
The call was coming from inside the house. Brandon, what are you doing this week?
So this week, I'm going to be trying to finish Resident Evil 8. I'm going to see if I can pick up Breath of the Wild as well, so I can say that I've actually made an attempt at that.
Yes.
Good game.
Do it.
It's a massive time sink there.
Yeah, I don't think I've got anything. I don't think I've got any other games planned in the meantime. Most of my time is going to be spent just watching the new season of anime, just see how this stuff gets on. Seems quite weak at the moment, but hopefully,
I need to start a few.
I'm hoping it gets stronger as it goes on.
Yeah, I'll start a couple this week, I think. But I've got a game I want to play. I was gonna try and play it for this episode, but I just didn't have time. But it's only like 3 hours long, so I'm gonna try and play that, and I'll see. I'll just be playing Pokemon and doing whatever else.
Well, good luck on the rest of your Nuzlocke.
Yeah.
But I must say, from all the games I've Nuzlocked so far, I think Sword is possibly the easiest.
Not really over Gen 6, like X and Y.
Y was pretty easy.
Yeah.
Y was the first one I did, but no, I think I had an easier time with Sword overall. I might have just looked at it.
I don't know, maybe.
You know how these things go.
Maybe you're just so OP, Chris.
Maybe, yeah.
Like, the game just cannot handle your skills.
Yeah, I've got a higher base HP than Blissey.
Oh, definitely. Like, it's all the alcohol.
I was going to say it's all these eggs, but I don't eat eggs. Definitely the alcohol. I feel no pain.
I literally had eggs the night before my tattoo. I had Garen steak with eggs, and I said to my mum, oh, this is just perfect before I get my egg tattoo.
Yeah, I didn't do any religion before my first tattoo.
I forget you have one. What do you have?
Mine is just Japanese writing on my right arm. Because I went to my brother.
Say?
So it's literally just my name.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I literally went to my brother. I was like, Kieran, I'm gonna get a tattoo. What should I get? And he said, get your name in Japanese. So I did.
Where have you got it?
It's on my right arm, going down my right arm.
What? Whereabouts on your right arm?
It's like perfectly sleeve height. So So if I'm wearing a shirt, you can't tell.
Okay, because like my tattoo, you can't tell. Like I walked all around town today, and no one could tell I've got a tattoo.
Yeah, it's just one of these ones where obviously it kind of looks crappy, but at the same time, it sort of encompasses what I like. So it's not like a total loss.
No, I don't think so. As long as it doesn't say chicken fried rice, I'm actually fine.
Well, everyone says that. Are you sure it says what it does? And I'm like, yes, because I did the translation myself. But obviously, I didn't rely on Google. I didn't rely on anything. I was like, yeah, this is literally what it says.
You know, it's the joke that everyone says when someone sees something like that.
Yeah.
Like, even when on Friday, like, we were all, I think, it was, someone was like, oh, no, Brandon doesn't have any tattoos, and then someone else was like, yeah, he does. He's got writing. And then I was just like, oh, what, like chicken fried rice instantly. So, you know, it's just that joke that everyone's going to, like, whatever.
Yeah.
I thought it would said egg fried rice.
I just flashed my tattoo at all the bars and like, oh, of course.
Yeah.
I'll get it for you.
Handy. Also, a tattoo will also be handy for you should you ever get amnesia.
Exactly. So I could just flash my arm and be like, obviously, as long as I get amnesia in Japan,
yeah.
Like if I'm in any other country, they'll look at my arm and they'll be like, "I've got no idea, mate."
Well, why you're in Japan, that only just adds to the mystery.
Well, I know.
Well, of course it does, because the fact that I'll have a tattoo in Japan itself is deemed a sin.
I was literally about to say that they're not keen on tattoos. I think it's because of Yakuza.
Yeah, but they're getting a lot more places are modernizing to it.
Yeah, they are.
It's just obviously we just got to get past this age, well, this generation where they were influenced by the Yakuza, like their predecessors.
That's...
So I have a feeling like, you know, by the time we're like middle aged, then it should probably all be clear.
Funny,
pretty much there now.
Kind of on that base, has there any of you played any of the Yakuza games?
Nope.
I played the first one on the PS2 all those years ago, and then I finished it, and then I got Yakuza 2 again on the PS2, and I played it for a few hours and just never played it again.
Yeah, I keep
seeing the ones on Game Pass, but I've not felt the urge to pick up and play them.
I've been told Yakuza 0 is amazing, so at some point I'm going to play that. I tell myself that.
3 ages ago.
I tell myself that. Let's see. It's been a few years.
Yeah, I've had a Yakuza 0 sitting on my PS4 hard drive for about 3 years. I've never clicked on it.
Yeah, I need to. I want to get it and then play it. Definitely a series I need to check out.
I'm probably doing a disservice to myself, but every time I pick up my PlayStation, I just end up playing something else. Something else just jumps out. I mean, I could play Yakuza, but then I wouldn't be playing Dark Souls, and you can see the dilemma around it.
Yeah, that's not. That is a proper dilemma.
Like, I can't see the glorious words "victory achieved" on it.
Well, maybe it is. I haven't played it.
Sorry, on that topic, I really do hope Elden Ring has something along those lines when we defeat a boss in Elden Ring. Please.
Probably.
Maybe it'll go outside the box. Maybe it'll say "achieved victory."
Don't say that. We have to change the name of the podcast.
It'll be a Mulligan. Well, I think that's probably it for this week.
Yeah, I think we've covered everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've been there. I don't think I've done anything else this week other than exist. So.
I can name other stuff, but it's not important.
Yeah, I can name some maybe insignificant stuff, but it can also be stuff which I can mention next time.
Alright.
Yeah. No, hope everyone enjoyed this episode. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, always a pleasure. Catch you in a bit. And don't forget, if you really, really want to see pictures of me and Brandon, and when I say pictures, I mean moving pictures because of cameras.
Yeah, we're not entirely fictitious.
Well, I think I might be. I'm not sure. You can catch Brandon at twitch.tv/Cybarker.
Link in the description.
And you can catch me at twitch.tv/SpankyRambles.
Link in the description.
And you can catch Dan in the street. But
in the street with his car.
Yeah.
Please don't kidnap him. We want him back for the next episode.
No, I just lurk in each of their streams every now and then when I can.
Yeah, so keep your eye out for the Yoshi tattoo. Easy to spot there. He's marked himself.
Well, no, it's on my shoulder, so you can't actually see it really. Without me just lifting my t-shirt up.
Ooh.
Bet you will. I bet you've invested in loads of vests now.
I've got one, but I'm planning to buy a few.
I know I did with my first tattoo.
I've got like 7 anime tank tops. Just like, when I've been paid again, I'm buying these. I would have bought them, but then car stuff happened.
For a second there, I thought before you said anime tank tops, I thought you were going to say I've got 7 anime body blows. I've got no idea why. I'm an evil bastard.
Cool. We'll see you next time, guys. Be safe, as always. We love you a long time.
Love you long time.
Love you a long time. And don't forget, egg.
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 Egg. Egg.
Egg.
Egg.
Egg.
Egg.
Egg.
Egg. Egg.
Egg.
Egg.